Here we are with another video about Call of Duty. Now, I am aware that obviously a video like this did just come out a few days ago, but I wanted to make I say quick, it's probably going to be quite a long video, but I wanted to make this video just to talk about the state of Call of Duty, what's going on right now, and honestly, in my opinion, how Activision is going to kill the Call of Duty franchise, because obviously myself and a lot of other people just aren't playing Vanguard at the moment, and even other alternatives such as Warzone and other like past Call of Duty games have just been starting to slip off. For a lot of people, Modern Warfare 2019, even though I quite liked the game, where it wasn't very good, and then for Black Ops Cold War, it's kind of like universally not liked by a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, I did have fun with the game, as I mentioned in my yearly review, but honestly, it just wasn't the same. A lot of the stuff that went down that year was just kind of mental, and I wanted to just talk about the state of Call of Duty in this video, because I don't think we get to talk about Call of Duty that much as like a state. We just talk about, the current game. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about the franchise, and from the gameplay you're seeing in the background, I had to basically pick the closest thing to Call of Duty Vanguard that I have with me at home. And obviously, if I was on my PC, I could have just used some of my recycled Vanguard gameplay. But obviously here, I don't have any of my Xbox One games other than the ones I brought, and I only have Xbox 360 games, so you're going to be seeing some Call of Duty World at War campaign today, so hopefully you guys will enjoy that. But I want to just quickly talk about something. So Call of Duty Vanguard is the worst selling Call of Duty since 2007, so that would have been COD 4 if any of you guys were around back then. And the reasons for this, there's a bunch of reasons, to be honest with you, and these are kind of like the ones I came up with. So obviously there's the whole sexual harassment allegations that are going down at Activision. Like, I believe one of the head developers at Sledgehammer Games is actually had some allegations thrown at him, and obviously this is going to affect the workplace any way you look at it. But in the way I see it is, say for example, you hand off this job and your boss was making like some weird threats and always basically touching you up. You wouldn't want to, be as productive as compared to, obviously if you're working with a bunch of friends, you had a good boss, etc., the pay was good, you'd be obviously a lot more productive. And I'm thinking that these sexual harassment allegations are all kind of leading to the game devs are feeling very unsafe in their own work environment, which kind of leads to a lack of productivity. Like, for the first time we had the 3-year development cycle, we had a hell of a lot of content, and the games came out completely fine. Like Black Ops 3, I believe, everything after Advanced Warfare was the 3-year development cycle. And yeah, up until 2018, I would say, this is kind of all skyrocketed with the 3-year development cycle just kind of going to shit. It was working before, and this could actually potentially get a lot worse, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. But with this unsafe work environment, with all the allegations coming out and stuff, people are going to be feeling a lot more uneasy at work, and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. People are feeling uneasy at work, they're not doing as much, they're trying to get more and more time off, they're less likely to stay, and work crunch time. So, yeah, the games are coming out fucking broken, and obviously crunch time in general is a pretty bad thing. For the older Call of Duty games, we don't really have the statistics of how much crunch time actually went into those games just before launch, but a few years ago, the people were working ridiculous hour weeks. I think something like 100-hour work weeks just to finish the game on time, which was absolutely ridiculous. But obviously this has got a lot worse. No one's putting in that extra time to make sure the game is finished. But even then, I do think that crunch time is a really bad idea, and that Call of Duty should be given more time to work on a Call of Duty title. Honestly, 3 years now for a next-gen game is starting to look really bad. If you look at Halo Infinite, that's been in development since 2016 or something like that. And it really does pay off looking at the game. The game, other than the netcode, has barely any issues, and it's really starting to show. So maybe Call of Duty could even move to a 4 or 5 year development cycle, or even then, I just think Call of Duty should come out with one game every few years. Say we get Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 next year, which I honestly think is a horrible name still to this day. So we get that next year, and then we get like 3 years off or something, so that Treyarch can come in with their next game. And if you add up the, like the year breaks and the development cycle, they would get a hell of a lot of time to work on these games, and each Call of Duty game could potentially be better than the last. Like, yeah, we'd have to wait a lot more for the next Call of Duty to come out if there is, like an issue with them, because that was kind of like the advantages of having a game out every year. But honestly, I think in this case, the pros far outweigh the cons. And yeah, honestly, if we had that amount of time, say for example, Modern Warfare 2 comes out next year, and obviously we got 2023 off, 2024 off, and maybe even 2025 off, and then Treyarch comes out with their game in 2026, and then they've had plenty of time to work on that. Like, there's no like crunch time. They can even have a bit of breaks. They can afford to have, like actual time off, which would have been kind of cool, just for the developers and that. The next thing I want to talk about is something that happened within Raven Software, who, if you don't know, are basically like the overseers of Warzone. So recently they fired all of their QA testers. So if you don't know what a QA tester is, it's basically someone who, after a game is, while the game is being developed, they like test the product to like find issues and report them back to the development team so they can fix them. And Raven Software just came in and fired them all, which was absolutely ridiculous. And it wouldn't surprise me if the other studios like Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer all kind of like follow suit and get rid of their QA testers as well, which is just a moronic move, because that means things release buggy and broken. Like Warzone Caldera, how it completely broke not Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2019 and Black Ops Cold War. It just makes no fucking sense. Why would you fire your QA testers of all people? The people that are going to make a more well-rounded product in the end, you fire them. Makes fucking sense. But then also we've got the fact that a Call of Duty game just comes out every single year. Like, these guys on, like, the teams at Treyarch, Infinity Ward, and Sledgehammer are getting no years off. They're not getting a break. They're not getting proper, like, holidays, I guess you could say. They're just getting, like, constant slug at their job. And honestly, I think if we move to a better development cycle, like the one I just proposed, like, these people will be so much happier. And also sorting out the sexual harassment allegations. Activision, do your fucking job and sort these people out. But, if just all of these things kind of came together and we didn't get a Call of Duty every single year, like, oh my god, how much better would the games be? Like, honestly, Vanguard, even though it is released with a hell of a lot of content, it is broken as fuck. There are so many issues with Vanguard, like the packet burst issue, which they tried to fix. I still get really bad packet burst whenever I play Vanguard. I don't know why. It's almost as bad as Modern Warfare 2019 at the moment, and it's just honestly really, really fucking bad. But yeah, all of these could get even worse, as I said before. Sledgehammer Games, after making World War II, which was kind of a flop in terms of like people after launch, like it sold really well, and after launch a lot of people just kind of dropped it because of the division system. However, they did fix it, but it was kind of too little too late, because most people had just gone onto other things. Like Fortnite was just emerging at this time, so it kind of made sense that people would just go to Fortnite at this point. But yeah, then Vanguard came out, and the amount of glitches, the amount of bugs, the amount of just issues in general has just really put people like myself off playing Vanguard. And this could actually be really fucking bad for the Call of Duty scene, just because Activision will probably look at Sledgehammer after this and say, right, you can't work with Raven Software, because obviously with Black Ops Cold War it was meant to be a Sledgehammer and Raven Software title. You can't work together with those two. You obviously can't make your own Call of Duty game without people not wanting to play it. And so we're going to remove you from the development cycle. And that would see a return of the fucking 2-year development cycle. When we were on last gen, and by last gen, I don't mean Xbox One, I mean Xbox 360 and PS3. Like, oh my god, those consoles feel like so long ago now. But yeah, we could see a return of that, but permanently, which would make games even fucking worse. Like, they release completely broken now. They'll release absolutely just devastating, because they've only had 2 years to work. And if you don't know how the development cycle works, usually the first year is like planning, and then like the second is like art, stuff like that, and then the third, which is obviously the launch year, between the first and the second, like halfway through, they start actually working on the game. Like the first year is literally just concepts and like pitching their ideas to Activision and stuff like that. And yeah, if we see a 2-year release cycle, it will go back to the first year is pitching, the second year is actually making the game. And honestly, that would be disastrous for the Call of Duty franchise. And in fact, in my opinion, would probably kill the Call of Duty franchise. Now, Activision is honestly, in my opinion, just slowly like milking away the lifeblood of the Call of Duty franchise. And there's a bunch of other factors that come into this as well. And we've got like the Warzone update, which happened recently, in the integration of Vanguard. So when Caldera came out, it basically just broke Modern Warfare 2019, created a bunch of bugs, created a bunch of issues. Progression in Black Ops Cold War was frozen, and Warzone on console was just crashing all the time. So people were basically forced into playing Vanguard, and that is not something you want to do to your consumer. Force them to play this game when they want to play other things. Like that just makes no sense. But and also a thing to do with Warzone as well, they just don't move it to Vanguard. I don't understand why this is. Like, yeah, granted, game design's hard, and if you move one little thing and the whole, like, system collapses, yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of work to fix it. So, kind of like think of it as a game of Jenga. If you pull out, like, the wrong piece, it's gonna all come crashing down on you and smash the table. But honestly, that's where the QA testers come in. They need to fix these things before the game comes out, not afterwards, when it's all, come crashing down. Warzone won't work. Vanguard's actually the only one that's kind of working. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot of issues with Vanguard. But Modern Warfare 2019, broken. And that's the one that the Vanguard launcher is on. So I don't get why they don't just move Warzone to Vanguard, because Vanguard's client is so much better than Modern Warfare 2019's, because it is the same engine. But if you just play the game side by side, you'll see that Vanguard is a hell of a lot smoother than Modern Warfare 2019, because the engine's been more refined. And obviously Black Ops Cold War is just completely thrown out of the equation, because it was using an engine that was like 5 years old in 2021. So that, 2016 that engine was made? Yeah, it is an old ass fucking engine. So yeah, maybe don't use that one. That would be a moronic idea. Yeah, if you're going to use any new client, use Vanguard, because that is a very, very recent game. And obviously the 2-year, kind of difference between them has had a lot of impact on the engine. So like the engine is just so much more refined in Vanguard than it is in Modern Warfare 2019. And plus the issues of like an FOV slider and constant crashing could actually be fixed with this. Like, obviously, I'm no game designer, so, it probably isn't just as simple as put it on the Vanguard engine and all the features will be there. But, it's definitely a step in the right direction, in my opinion. Now, all they care about is Warzone. Now, this has been a feeling since Warzone came out that Activision really doesn't give a shit about 6v6 multiplayer, and in my opinion, it's just dying. Like, there's no other way of putting it. It's fucking hell, I can't speak today. But there's no other way of putting it. The Vanguard experience 6v6 is just completely fucked. There's no other way of putting it. Like, all Activision cares about is putting all the money, all their effort into Warzone and marketing everything kind of like that, and then obviously the games just kind of act as an add-on to Warzone. I say that with air quotation marks, because the main game is meant to be the main experience, with Warzone being like a side thing that people of all walks of life can enjoy. But then obviously you've got the fact that they just neglect the main game. It makes absolutely no sense, in my opinion. What are you doing, Activision? You are literally going to be the death of 6v6 multiplayer. And I actually saw a video about this the other day, where they were saying, once Warzone eventually dies, because one day Battle Royales aren't going to be popular and the next new trend's going to come along, what are they going to do? Are they just going to abandon 6v6 multiplayer? Because once Warzone's dead, they're going to have nowhere to go. Call of Duty will be dead at that point. Like, they'll have killed 6v6 along the way. And, they'll just have absolutely nothing to go back on. It's, the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It makes complete sense in the terms of Call of Duty. But yeah, I also want to just talk about the fact we've had a Call of Duty game for over 16 years. People are getting burnt out. There's no other way of putting it. Like, even myself with Vanguard, I'm feeling burnt out. I've bought every Call of Duty since 2012, so that is nearly 10 years. That's my pen lid falling on the floor. But I've bought every Call of Duty game for nearly 10 years, and I will probably be buying next year's Call of Duty as well. So after that, I'll have literally every Call of Duty in the last 10 years bought, like, you know, similar time to release. And that's just kind of unacceptable in my opinion. Like, we need a year off. At least 1 year off. Give us Vanguard for another year. I can tolerate Vanguard for another year if you give us decent content, give us decent camos, give us, like, you know, actual good stuff to work towards, and we can play Vanguard for another year. That is completely fine with me. Like, the game itself, I don't really have an issue with. As I said, I find it quite fun in my Vanguard video, but other than that, like, you know, just give us my proposed idea. Let Infinity Ward make their next game. Say we have a year off in 2022 and then their game comes out in 2023. Give them till 2026 to make Treyarch's game. At least give them that amount of time. At least. If you want, give them more, because that will give us a much more refined experience. But the only scary thing about that is when the potential for, you know, Treyarch's new game comes out, I'd be like, what, 25? That is kind of mental, because obviously we're in 2022 now, as you guys are seeing this. I'm actually recording this on the last day of 2021. But yeah, I'll be 20 this year, and that's kind of scary because of all the shit that's meant to be happening in your 20s. But hey ho, maybe that'll never happen to me. You never know. Maybe no woman will ever want me. But honestly, it's just like how crazy amount of time that would take to pass. However, I think it will be worth it in the end if we get a much better game, more content for the previous games. Honestly, it'll all, you know, come together in my opinion. Like, even if, like, other games did this, you know, like Battlefield does this, and even then their games end up broken because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And like Battlefield 2042 is so broken, even though I do think it is a pretty good game in terms of gunplay. But honestly, I struggle with the motivation to play that game, genuinely. Like, the only thing that's saving it for me is getting Portal gameplay. That is literally it. But other than that, Vanguard Season 1 came out so fast. Like, Vanguard Season 1 came out, like, around the early days of December, and the game came out on the 8th of November. So that is a very quick pre-season, in my opinion. And the second the season dropped, they had a lackluster battle pass, and the shop became so full with bundles, you'd think it's Jimmy Savile at an orphanage. Holy fuck, that is a dark analogy. Holy fuck. But yeah. Yeah, it's just so lackluster, the battle pass. There's absolutely nothing in there that interests me. And then just the game's release even more broken because of this. Like, Activision's pushing them and pushing them and pushing them to make more money, and then the games just end up broken as fuck, and it's just not fun for anyone. And it's just we get less and less content every year. Vanguard is kind of like an exception to this, I guess, with like 70 camos or something, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Less and less content. Black Ops Cold War launched with nearly nothing. Modern Warfare 2019 had a decent amount, I'll be honest. But Vanguard's camo grind is absolutely awful. It makes me want to genuinely jump off a fucking cliff. But, like, half of the camos are just terrible as well. Like, half of them are, like, alright, and then the half is just absolutely god-awful. Like, I don't know who the fuck designed half these things. They are terrible. There's no other way of putting it, but every year it just gets worse and worse, and honestly, this is going to be the death of the Call of Duty franchise in my opinion. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. I know it was quite a long one. It was nearly 20 minutes long. But I thought I'd just, like, you know, kind of make a full in-depth video just talking about what I thought about this game and what I think about Call of Duty as a whole, because honestly, this isn't going to take us anywhere good. I'll be honest with you guys, this isn't going to go anywhere good, and it could get a hell of a lot worse if we don't do something about it. So what I'm going to be doing is just not spending any money in Vanguard. I'm not going to buy any skins. I'm not going to buy any battle passes. I'm just going to chill, play the game, get the free content, and get out, because honestly, I'm losing so much interest in this game by the day. I just don't want to play it anymore. I really don't. Like, I don't know, when I get back to uni, I'll probably jump on for a few games, but after that, I'm probably done. I swear to God, guys, I'm going to be done with Call of Duty very, very soon. Like, Halo's just absolutely killing it. Call of Duty is dying, and I don't want to see this franchise die, but You know, it could be inevitable at this point. Activision's just killing the franchise, and if they don't do something about it, the game's fucked. There's no other way of putting it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please do a like and subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications so you never miss a single video, or alternatively, you can join the Discord server as a link down below. But anyway, this has been QuinntonTV, and I'll see you all in the next one.